I'd like to welcome everyone to the audit meeting for September 29th, 2020 here in the town of Moreau. We're wrapping up final signatures on vouchers, and then we'll continue. You all set?
I think we're all set.
You got everything? Yep. All right, so we have all necessary signatures on the vouchers. I do have some transfers that need to take place. And the first transfer, I'll be looking for a motion to that $2,000 be transferred to account A 1420.4, which is general attorney contractual, and the same amount be transferred from A 1990.4, which is general contingent account. And the purpose of the transfer of these funds is for the payment of attorney's fees.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries unanimously. Also, we'll need a resolution to transfer $2,500 to account TS 8160.4, which is transfer station refuse and garbage contractual, and $2,056 be transferred from TS 8160.2, which is transfer station refuse garbage equipment, and $444 be transferred from TS 9050.8, which is transfer employee benefits and employment. Purpose of this transfer is for contractual expenses for the transfer station.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. All right, so we're on that. We do have one order of business in order for the bills to be paid. I have a resolution. Do you have copies? Actually, I don't think you have the updated copy.
Yes.
I just got it like 20 minutes ago. It's not on letterhead.
Oh, okay.
So I'll read it for you. All right, so this is a resolution, Town Board, Town of Moreau. The subject is the townwide recreational capital reserve fund expenditure. Whereas by resolution dated December 13th, 2011, the Town Board of the Town of Moreau duly established a capital reserve fund designated as the townwide recreational capital reserve fund for the purpose of funding the acquisition and development of lands within the Town of Moreau for recreational use, including capital improvements on lands presently owned in fee or otherwise leased or hereinafter acquired in fee or otherwise or leased by the town. And whereas the townwide recreational capital reserve fund has a present balance of approximately $223,992.57, and whereas the town board of the town of Moreau has determined that in the best interest of the town to purchase material for the creation of a pickleball court or courts to be located within the Harry B. Tar Recreational Park within the town of Moreau. And whereas the purchase of material for the recreation of pickleball courts is a purpose for which the townwide recreational capital reserve fund was established. And whereas the town board desires to fund the purchase of material for the creation of pickleball courts of the townwide, from the townwide recreational capital reserve fund. And whereas the town board, having deliberated upon this matter, now therefore be resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the expenditure of funds not to exceed $1,200 and no cents from the townwide recreational capital reserve fund, a capital reserve fund for the purchase of material for the creation of pickleball courts to be located within the Harry B. Tar Recreational Park within the town of Moreau. And it is further resolved that the supervisor and/or deputy supervisor is authorized to execute any documents necessary to effectuate the purchase identified above. And it is further resolved that this resolution is made pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 6C, and is subject to a permissive referendum as permitted by law. Somebody would like to move that?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that resolution?
I was going to say reread it.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. So we're all done with
discussion on we want.
Oh, where's that? So we need to authorize the expenditure for that purpose. So back on September 9th, 2020, the Highway Department worked to repair damaged guide rails and posts following an accident on Old Saratoga Road. Geico fully reimbursed the town for this purchase on September 9th, 2020. And I would need authorization to pay for that repair. The money would come from account DB 5110.494, and the amount is $3,629.12.
So moved.
Second.
Want to see those?
Sure.
We had a second on that, right? Any discussion? Okay. So we did the repair, the vehicle operator insurance reimbursed us. So that's the reason for the resolution.
Do I have to sign?
Yeah, that had to be signed.
Okay.
Once everyone approves it.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Anything else for transfers? Any other transfers?
That's it.
Did I hear something?
Wait, I think Paul did.
There's someone signed it over here and the authorized official.
Okay, you all set? All right, this time I entertain a motion to pay the bills as audited.
Second.
Any discussion?
I mean,
So
moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to close the audit meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the September 29th, 2020 Moreau Town Board meeting, 7 p.m. And ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Hogan.
Here.
Councilmember Newman.
Here.
Councilmember Francastle. Is he
Here.
Okay. Councilmember Navio.
Here.
Supervisor Kuzmiers.
Here, and if everyone would please rise for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Item 1 on the agenda is the approval minutes. We only have one set for September 8th, 2020, which was a regular town board meeting. No members of the board were absent. Any questions, comments, changes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved unanimously. Item 2 is to set future meetings and workshops. As the board may be aware, my budget is statutorily required to be made available to the public September 30th. It will be released tomorrow. And we do have statutorily established deadlines for its adoption. And to keep on schedule, I'd like to schedule, as we've done historically, start out with 3 dates for the initial budget workshops with our department heads and some of the entities that we fund, such as the Emergency Squad, Fire Company, and Moreau Community Center. So what I'm looking at now, I'd like to do it on, obviously, on days that are not town board meeting dates. But I would like to start as soon as possible. Would next Tuesday, the 6th, work for folks, say around 5:30? We'll do like an hour and a half or 2 hours. Start out.
Yes.
That's fine.
All right, so we'll schedule the first one for the 6th. Would you like to do a second one on the 8th, same time?
Thursday,
Yeah.
10/8.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you good, Alan? Okay. 5:30.
5:30.
Is that good? All right.
Yeah.
And I'd like to schedule a third one. Not sure we'll need it, but you know, we were pretty efficient last year. I'd be looking at the 15th for that.
And that's a Thursday?
That's a Thursday, October 15th.
Works for me.
I know I've got open house on one of these nights. Oddly enough, we have to be present for a virtual open house. So I don't know the date, but let's schedule this.
Well, yeah, we can.
Yeah. Virtual open house.
Maybe we won't need it if we get through
Okay.
it pretty quickly, but
All right.
Antrim will do it if we need it. It's okay, 15th, 5:30, same time?
I put it on my calendar.
Okay, all right, great. And then I think I'd like to get on the calendar another workshop for solar. And I think it's important that we have a town attorney present with us. And I know she has some availabilities that match with my availabilities. And I just wanted to run that through by the board. And I'm looking at the 29th of October.
Okay. Which is also a Thursday.
Which is also Thursday, yeah. And we have a town board meeting that week. And I think maybe, you know, dedicate at least an hour and a half to 2 hours to that. So why don't we start that at 5:30 so that, you know, we're out of here in a timely fashion by 7:30. And if we need to continue, then we will schedule another one. If not, that'll be our final one before we get the draft law in the format where we'll have the public weigh in on it.
How close are we to getting the public being able to attend meetings?
So the governor's executive order expires on October 4th. And I think there's an expectation that it'll be extended another 30 days, but we won't know until
October 4th. Thank you.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, everybody okay with that date?
At this point, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we will have board meetings in between if we need to change that for anybody's schedule. But at this time, we'll get on the calendar for the 29th at 5:30. Great. Next item on the agenda, I have a brief update for COVID-19, which is current as this afternoon. Starting at the state level, the governor added, I should say New York State, added a travel advisory that includes the state of Colorado. However, Arizona and Virginia were removed from the travel advisory list. He indicated that the 20 hotspot zip codes in the state have a 5% positivity rate. Statewide, the positivity rate is 1.1%. There was 2 COVID deaths in New York yesterday. The State Liquor Authority and State Police Task Force visits have been to over almost 1,100 establishments. And they observed 3 establishments that were not in compliance. So New York businesses are doing a very good job of adhering to DOH's requirements. New York has an additional 1,189 coronavirus cases in the state, which now brings the total in New York to 457,649. And there have been new cases in 49 of the state's counties. Here a little bit closer to home, in Saratoga County, there have been 1,065 confirmed cases of COVID-19 to date. Number of new cases has jumped by 9. The number of deaths remains steady at 17 since the epidemic occurred. Number of recovered cases is 983. Active cases has gone down from, I think it was in the 70s in Saratoga County, down to 65. However, number of hospitalizations is at 4, which is an increase of 1. The 7-day rolling average positivity rate is 0.89%, and so far to date, 99,582 individuals have been tested in Saratoga County. Here in the town of Moreau, there have been 51 confirmed cases. There's been 1 death, and there continues to be 7 active cases. Total number recovered is 43 individuals. And in the village of South Glens Falls, the number has just jumped up by 2 to 15 confirmed cases. Number of active cases increased by 1 to 4. Number of recovered is now at 11. The number of deaths is 0. So that's what I have for the update. Item 4 on the agenda is Moreau Community Center. We have a request. I think board members also have a copy of the annual request from the community center where they'd like to again use the old town hall. I'll share it with you. I'll read it to you and I'll give it to you. They'd like to again use the old town hall on Hudson Street for their holiday program this year. They'll be doing it differently in light of COVID, but still need a central place in which to operate. They would like to use it beginning November 19th through December 23rd if the town board approves it. They would pay as they have in the past for the utilities that are used during that period. Did you get it? You didn't get it?
No, but
Thank you.
hasn't been a problem in the past.
Based upon past history, I would think that we would approve that as well.
Motion to do that? To approve use of that?
I would do a motion.
So you want to forward the motion? Katie? Yes, sir. Make a motion that we allow the community center to use the town hall, the old town hall, for the Hudson holiday program this year, November 19th to 23rd.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Any discussion?
Do they provide insurance information?
I think they have in the past, but we'll make sure.
Make sure.
Yeah, I'm almost positive they have. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item 5 on the agenda, I have listed as the water department. Now, we do have a little bit of good news. I have correspondence from the town of Queensbury in relation to the actual cost of water for 2019. Says, Mr. Kuzniers, the actual cost for production of water in 2019 was $1.02 per thousand gallons, 97 cents per thousand gallons plus 5 cents transmission cost. The year 2019 budget rate was $1.15 per thousand gallons. This gives you a credit of 13 cents per thousand gallons for the year 2019, which means we will receive a credit of $25,288.77 towards our fall water bill. So that's good. Also underwater, I've had conversations with Lance Hillman from Hillman Brothers in relation to the building that used to be the town court facilities over on Route 9. They have access to public water, which was in that building. He also has another building in the same tax parcel ID map. So we bill them for minimum usage. And he brought it to my attention that he's in the process of knocking down the building. You've probably seen the windows are out now. They're taking out the valuable contents of the building. And he expects to have it down by December. The water line's been removed. He's asking that the town not charge him the minimum use, which we do historically. We don't really have a policy on that. I said I'd bring it to the town board for discussion. I did talk with the town engineer who's working on a more global policy for all of our water districts because we don't address this particular issue. And he did point out that his recommendation to municipalities is that you charge a minimum of a half of an EDU because the fact that you have primary water infrastructure right out front lends value to the lot, and everybody in the water district has to contribute to debt service and operation and maintenance in some form. So I will say that Mr. Hillman is working very well with us. He has allowed us to place a pump station on his property. And my recommendation would be in this particular case, until we adopt a townwide policy, that he is not charged that minimum use for the building that's not going to be there anymore. I don't know if the board members have any thoughts on that.
I'm okay with that. At this point, with no policy in place.
Yeah, so this would be just for this particular parcel. It wouldn't be a blanket policy across the town.
This building being torn down.
Yeah.
Basically nothing there on the lot.
Yeah.
So is it, but there's a second.
So he's got his office building, is it transportation? I can't remember in the tax ID map. Isn't that where the trucks are, or is it the garbage
It's
trucks?
Hillman Brothers, so it's,
Yeah.
it's the offices next to that.
Right, so that's all the same contiguous tax parcel.
Okay.
So he's gonna get, he's still gonna be charged, obviously, for usage on that building.
Okay. And the one that's being torn down, the idea is to remove
In
any
this particular case,
fees to that.
the minimum charge to it. Because there's no water line there anymore, he can turn on if he wanted to. And his argument is that, he can't take advantage of the water service. But our engineers will tell you that the property derives a benefit for additional cost and value because you do have access to it out there. There is a.
I got that there's access, I'm just, I'm thinking that, there's two buildings on this property, one is still gonna continue to get water,
Yeah, there's separate water lines.
but there's two separate water lines. I'm fine with not charging for it. You know, there's no service.
Does he have only, doesn't he have 3 buildings, and he's gonna remove the one?
I think, there's
So
a,
regardless, I agree with the, not charging them. All right.
No, sure.
and we plan to have this as part of our more global policy as we look at our water districts within the next 8 months or so. So we're gonna address this for good, but in this particular instance, it requires town board action.
Well, let me ask you this question, thinking about that, we're addressing it in a couple of months. Do we want to be making a decision on this tonight? Is there a chance that our thoughts might be reversed by then or around that? When we might be addressing this issue in its entirety through the town?
I can't predict the future.
No, I know, I can't either, but I mean,
Right. Now, is anything gonna happen with his account at this point in time, where we're gonna put a stop date on there, and for now?
So we bill twice a year, right?
He has a bill active right now, which is why you're discussing.
It's
this. He has a bill.
$60, is that right?
Yes,
So $60 for water service to a building that doesn't have a water line.
and that's what the standard.
That's the minimum.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it.
All right. And I will say that the value of him allowing us to have
A pump station.
a pump station
Oh,
is more than $60, so I still think the town's making out.
no, I don't think so.
So we're gonna need a resolution, how would we word that for that first parcel? I have the tax parcel ID.
You're authorizing, you're only charging 0.5 EDU. Is that how you're gonna do it?
No, moving forward in our policy down the road, that's the recommendation of the engineers.
For
And
this
it's,
one, you're waiving everything.
yes, the minimum charge.
Then
So-
you just say that.
So then,
For this particular parcel, tax map number, whatever it is.
yeah, but he's got other buildings on that parcel, so we can't say it's for the whole parcel, right?
can you refer to?
Refer to which building it
Court
is.
building. It's the court building.
Okay,
Yeah.
former court building, okay. So then I guess the motion would be to, moving forward, to waive the minimum charge that the town has established in Water District 6 for residential use for the building that was utilized as the town court building, effective today.
Right. And then did you want to put, because John brought, did you want to bring an end date on that, or is it just going to be?
You mean until another policy supersedes it?
Yes,
All right, so.
Or until the building's
or
built.
until another building is built, correct?
Yeah. So, as long as the, well, how would you say that?
That you're going to, that you waive any minimum charge for Water District 6 for the building that used to house the Old Town Court.
Located on tax parcel ID 77.-4-2.
This waiver is in effect only until either a new building is put on that footprint or on that parcel.
Actually, I have the actual address for that building.
Okay,
So you want to just for that address? You want to put that in the resolution?
yes,
So, sorry.
that's okay. I'm the one writing it, she is.
So if we back up, dovetailing off of where I mentioned the tax parcel ID number in relation to service location 1390 Route 9.
The town agrees to waive this minimum charge only until a new building is placed on the property or a town policy is into effect to deal with this. And I can send you more specific language.
So,
We can move that.
I just have one quick question. You said effective today.
Effective beginning with the billing date of 8/25/2020, how's that?
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'd have to pay it, right?
Right.
So moved.
Second.
Everybody clear on the resolution? Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Did you get that, Alan?
I did.
You're awfully quiet tonight, Alan.
It's early.
That's it for Water Department. Item 6, Highway Department. As an update, received an email from the Highway Superintendent Paul Joseph that National Grid has postponed until next Wednesday their installation of the new gas line because their equipment is broken down. He also has a request in there for the purchase of winter sand for the 2020 budget year. He was able to obtain 3 quotes. First is from Kingsbury Highway Department in Hudson Falls at a cost of $5 per ton. Second one is Cranesville Aggregate at a cost of $9.50 per ton. And the third is from BJ Farms in Greenwich, $7.50 a ton. He's recommending that we go with the Kingsbury Highway Department. This will be paid from account DB 5142.491, which has a current balance as of September 2nd of $7,000, which was the amount that was budgeted for this current fiscal year.
So motion to approve town or the highway department to purchase sand from Kingsbury Highway Department, $5 per ton for the 2020 budget year.
Second?
Any discussion?
Yes. Sorry.
Councilmember?
I know we've talked about this in the past, but are we anywhere close to thinking that all that sand down at the wreck where we could make another bowl?
So-
That'll be used for our use in the town?
So I have had those conversations over the years with Paul, and I think the problem is the particulate size.
The grid of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It does.
Which makes it problematic.
So it's not the same stuff they took out the first time? Or it was, it just didn't work?
Well, I think the stuff they took out the first time, they used the cattail land.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. Got it. Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Let's see. The last item I have for highway is I had a constituent from the Pine Crest area reach out to my office. I actually spoke with him. And he had a question about the bike lane signage that was painted on the road on Feeder Dam, and I did talk to Paul about that. His other request is that we do crosswalks at Feeder Dam and Merritt, and as anyone who knows, there's a lot of students that walk crossing that road. I actually think it's a good idea. I don't know what the board thinks about that.
I think it's a good idea. Student safety, obviously, children, is a good thing. Maybe there's more that has to be talked to the highway about Feeder Dam, because of all the neighborhoods that are going in down there, the amount of traffic that pops up. Maybe that Feeder Dam and Merritt has it, I don't know what earns a stop sign, but I know it's a straightaway and significantly more density down at the end of Feeder Dam now, and I know I've heard from a few residents that were curious about speed, and I understand the discussions with that too. That's law enforcement's position to control that, and the stop sign shouldn't control speed.
You can't use the stop sign as a speed.
Right, so I know that, but I'm not being authority on it, didn't really throw that back to a resident, like I know that answer, so I just know that there are some folks that are saying is there a way to, what does merit a stop sign?
Accidents,
Accidents?
accidents.
Well, we don't want any of those, so I guess it's good that we don't have stop signs.
No, if you have accidents, you know, if you have an intersection that you're getting lots of accidents at, they very well could put up stop signs.
Yeah, I don't think,
But
I wouldn't know, but I don't think there's additional, more accidents at Merritt Road. And,
what is illegal? I don't think it's a accident.
right, okay. All right,
So you're okay with crosswalk?
Yes.
You're okay. Do we need a motion for that?
Make a motion.
All right, so something like that.
I'd like to make a motion that we, the highway department install a crosswalk, on Feeder Dam Road at the intersection of Feeder Dam and Merritt Road.
Seconded.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is there, I don't believe there's a crosswalk up at Peter Dam and Tanglewood. Isn't that where kids oftentimes cross, younger kids? even?
Right, so we do a crossing guard down there,
Right.
so maybe, I don't know what the cost would be for an additional one down the road, but,
Crossing guard?
crosswalk.
Crosswalk.
I mean, and I know
It's
it's
cheaper than crossing guard.
and I know we've got the request from the school, I mean, where do you want crosswalks? Because I know they want them down by Tanglewood in the football field, right? So,
Yeah,
but nobody's going anywhere.
There's no clear coming across the road there from the school property to school property
They've opened up the end of the fence,
to that.
yeah,
Is it
because they take they take the kids,
Usually
Tanglewood
crosswalks.
over to the high school track,
Yeah.
but you guys know that,
Does highway committee want to work with Paul on that?
Okay.
Come up with some recommendations?
Yeah.
Okay.
But can we make, you know, I'll talk to them more about, Peter Dam and Merritt. We don't need to make a motion on that time, but we're happy to do it.
We
Oh,
just-
no, Merritt, we just did Merritt, we're talking Tanglewood.
Yeah, right, that's right.
Yeah,
So,
I'll talk to
so-
Tanglewood and
yes.
more on Tanglewood.
okay, good. And that's all I have for highway. Resignations, we had a resignation from a member of our Board of Assessment Review, from Chris Abrams. And want to thank him for his service in that position. When Chris agreed to be appointed to that opening, it was actually a vacancy that was created by Mark Porter, who served for many years in that capacity. And so Chris was filling the unexpired term of Mark Porter that began April 10th, 2018. Chris's term was to end September 30th of this year anyway, so no, he's only a couple of weeks away from the end of his term. But on behalf of the residents, the town of Moreau, I do want to thank him for serving the residents, serving the town in that capacity, and wish him well in all his future endeavors. Do we need a motion to accept that? All right, next item is Recreation Department. Just briefly, a couple items. We do have an update, which I'd like to provide to the board. I know Alan and myself and members of the Rec Committee have also been involved in ensuring that we wrap up the Universal Playground in a timely fashion this year. We still need some final grading done along the area where the playground equipment exists. We need to get the spray pad installed, which requires concrete work as well as the ramp to the playground equipment. And it also includes some installation of water lines for the spray area. So I asked our rec leader to provide an update to the board of where we are timing wise on that, just so that everybody's on the same page. And I'm happy to report that High Peaks Tree Service came in and removed about 25 trees on September 19th, and all the brush was removed and mulched. He also adds that due to a scheduling issue with Parkitex, which was not able to take place in relation to an inspection that has to take place with the playground equipment for us to meet a certain certification. That can happen in the spring. And once the project is complete, and he indicated that that should be more than adequate for our certification. The installation of the utilities for the splash pad was a little delayed by 1 to 2 weeks. I do have a meeting with Jesse from our water department and Pete, our rec leader, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Anybody's welcome to come down to be a part of that meeting to coordinate the water tap and the running of the water lines so that we can remain on target for completion before the frost comes into the ground this year. I did reach out to BOCES 2 weeks ago, and very excited to report that not only will their students be coming back, hopefully that's still the plan, I know it's day by day with what's going on around the state in education, but not only will they be coming back hopefully next week for on-site instruction, they will be staying on site for an extra month compared to when they usually wrap up. So I will be meeting with Randy Weeks to go over removal of stumps at the park, doing final grading. We also talked about getting topsoil over there, and you would have the students mix that into the top surface so we have a good medium for growing grass as we finish the project. And he's also going to have crews begin working down along the river, up the Moreau Road, to start working on the bike trail or multi-use trail down there, which is very exciting. You know, COVID really set us back on that. We had budgeted monies for paving and all, so you know, if we can salvage some of that work this year, that's fantastic news. Pete reports that the heavy equipment has already begun to be moved into the park by BOCES. They expect to finish it up at the end of the week. The students will be on site October 5th, and they expect to be able to work within our timeline through the end of this year. As a final update, we will be addressing this tonight. Parkitex has a proposal for us to move forward with the splash pad and the walkway installation. Depending on the board's action tonight, we'll be able to check that off as final work on the splash pad and the universal playground. So with that, I will actually move to, I believe there's a, did you get a resolution on that?
Architect?
Yeah. Jeffrey did one.
Jeffrey did it, and then I sent him the language to change it.
All right, I must have it here.
I haven't gotten it, you know.
Well, do you have the
Yeah, the
changed one? The,
came out after the other one.
oh yeah, yep, this is the changed one.
All right, so just to go over what we'd be doing with that resolution, we'd be engaging the services of Parkitect to do the splash pad, concrete slab, the mechanical, plumbing, the electrical, 2250 square feet of walkway, a ramp of about 17-foot cheek walls, 140 square feet, for a total cost with the seats and the walls of $61,520. This would be the final component of what the town had budgeted for this project. And that's going to require a resolution that is also subject to permissive referendum. And if the board is willing to move forward, I'll have the clerk read that for us.
So that would be all 3 phases at this point?
No.
It's phase 1 that
Yeah.
we delayed from last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's what I figured, but I just, okay, yeah. All right.
So I'll ask the clerk to read that in the record.
Whereas by resolution dated December 13th, 2011, the town board of the town of Moreau duly established a capital reserve fund designated as the townwide recreational capital reserve fund for the purpose of funding the acquisition and development of lands within the town of Moreau for recreational use, including capital improvements on land presently owned in fee or otherwise leased or hereinafter acquired in fee or otherwise released by the town. And whereas the townwide recreational capital reserve fund has a present balance of approximately $290,766.65. And whereas the town board of the town of Moreau has determined it is in the best interest of the town to purchase equipment for use at the universally accessible playground and spray park to be located within the Harry Beach Recreational Park within the town of Moreau. So be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the expenditure of funds not to exceed $61,520.00 from the townwide recreational capital reserve fund for the purchase and installation of spray park equipment to be located within the Harry Beach Recreational Park within the town of Moreau. And so be it further resolved that the supervisor and or deputy supervisor is authorized to execute any documents necessary to effectuate the purpose identified above. So be it further resolved that this resolution is made pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 6C, and is subject to a permissive referendum as permitted by law.
Somebody like to move that?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No, it's just nice that we're able to get to this spot with all the delays. I know we had those young men years ago that had this idea, right? And we're finally at it, so it's nice that their ideas finally get here. So it's great.
Yeah, we're able to salvage some more work on it, even as a result of COVID delaying us, we're still able to move forward, so it's great.
That's great.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next item under rec. Oh, I do that. Our rec hours are coming into, we'll be changing time soon. As the board recalls, under our code, we have established park hours of 9 a.m. to dusk. However, by a resolution that was modified to what we currently operate under, which is 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Now with the sunset a lot earlier than 8 p.m., 7, time change is going to come into play here. Does the board, I don't want to have employees down there after dark.
They don't need to be, that's this one.
So does the board have a recommendation on what the new hours should be and when they should kick in?
Well, sunset is like 6:40 right now, and then we got about another 30 minutes of light. So I know soccer goes for another 3 weeks. We got 5:30 on Monday nights, so they're there until at least 6:30. So, and then I don't know if the park staff need to do what to close up the park, so.
Let's make sure people have left in the night, I think.
Right, so, it'll be dark by 7:15 in the park, I mean, put it outside right now at 7:30, dark out, so.
Yeah, so the time change is it, am I reading this right, November?
Halloween.
Yeah.
November 1st.
So,
We'll go back now, so it's gonna be dark at 6 o'clock.
we must have already started this fall hours anyway.
I don't know.
Well, so we went from, I would say from the period now till November. I can bring it up again if you want, but what would those hours be?
Why can't it be dusk?
That's just fine. Because
At
that's,
this point, I mean, so it's, you know, kind of somewhat of a variable, but I mean, there's no reason for them to be hanging out till 8:30 at night.
Right,
okay. So then I'll entertain a motion that the park hours effective
Why not tomorrow?
November, September 30th, become 8 AM until dusk. That work?
That works until skating time.
but we've never turned lights on for skating, have we?
Yes.
Oh, we do?
It's
I didn't realize we were, not every night, but certain nights.
usually, Friday, Saturday, maybe Thursday, but Friday and Saturday.
Okay, so, yeah, so. Okay.
Okay, good. So did somebody move that?
So I make a motion that we change the park hours, starting tomorrow, from 8 AM until dusk.
Second.
Second, there we go.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. So we'll let Pete know that for scheduling purposes. That's all I have for rec. Item 9 is supervisor items. I just have a few items here. I received a telephone call to my office from a town resident, Mary Volnowski. She wanted to compliment how helpful and pleasant Linda Hart at the transfer station was. So we'll pass that along to our employees down there. And also a little disconcerting news. This afternoon, there was an accident between the town sweeper and 2 motor vehicles on Route 9. I think it was the old Saratoga Road side of Route 9, the west side. What happened was a vehicle stopped for the slow-moving sweeper on Route 9, and the vehicle behind it hit that vehicle into the sweeper. Not a lot of damage to the sweeper. I think I heard Paul say maybe an oil spill. At least one car was totaled. One of the occupants, at a minimum, was transported to Glens Falls Hospital for observation. The report I got later this afternoon was that everyone was okay. So, but the car was certainly totaled, and glad no one was hurt with that. Also under supervisor items, I received notice of the Saratoga County's locations for drug take-backs for unused or expired medication for safe disposal. Location will be here at the Moreau EMS on Route 9. It'll be Saturday, October 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Other locations include Wilton Town Hall, Clifton Park, Half Moon EMS, Saratoga Hospital, and Saratoga Police on Maple Avenue. So the closest one for our residents is over here at Moreau EMS. And I received, and I think my office passed it on to town attorney, a notice of claim from Verizon in relation to damage done on Verizon property. The water department was digging in an area off of 18 Maplewood Parkway. They have Warren County listed there, so does that void this claim?
Nice try.
Anyway, I did talk to Jesse about it. They're placing a water service in there. The lines were already marked, and they still damage the line. So anyway, that's been referred to our insurance carrier, but I did want the board to be aware of it. I know Carla provided a memo to me, just give me the heads up about the new labor law for public employees, where the employer, it was passed on Labor Day, where the employer is required to have certain policies in place, and I know you're keeping,
Yes, you need to, they need to be in place as of April 1st, but they need to be presented to the union February 14th. 15th or something like that.
and this is in relation to when an event of a declared public health emergency involving a communicable disease is declared. It requires certain actions on the part of the municipal employer.
So we have to put together a pandemic plan.
Pandemic plan. All right. And the last item I have under supervisor items, as I indicated at the top of the meeting, I'm required to submit the town budget. I want to thank Jeffrey and Lisa in my office for helping to put that together. It's very time consuming. As a backdrop, I want to make the board aware as we go into budget workshops, we've seen significant decreases in our sales tax. As I've reported in the past, in May, we saw a reduction of nearly 30%. In June, we saw a reduction of nearly 40%. July, it was a 10% bump up, but that was in relation to, I think, the filing requirements for quarterly sales tax reporting, which gave you an artificial bump. But then we saw another 12% decrease in August, and September's number is down another 11%. So it's not good news. It's very challenging, in my opinion, because in putting the budget together, we do rely heavily on sales tax. I know that the numbers will not bounce back to where they once were, for at least for 2021. So the budget I put together reflects that. And this budget here, I reduced spending by almost 18% over last year's adopted budget. We've got serious shortfalls in court revenues. The budget that was provided to me by our department heads, you know, some of them, we had one department that was asking for a 13.5% increase. Another department was asking for 11% increase. Another department wanted an 8% increase. The budget I have that I'm releasing tomorrow, the tax rate will be flat. We'll see basically a penny increase per $1,000 assessed value over last year. And I dramatically reduced the use of fund balance from, for instance, with the general fund, from $463,000 of fund balance down to $250,000. So I think it's a very conservative budget. I think it's appropriate, and you know, you'll have a copy of it tomorrow. So and I look forward to working with everybody on that as we go through that process.
I'm sure you're going to look forward to that.
Well, I did notice that I scheduled a third meeting date in case we needed it. I think that is all I have for supervisor items. Were there any committee reports?
Just two things. I don't know if this isn't necessarily a committee, but I am a liaison to the school district, and they recently mentioned that they are going to continue forward with the South Consult, whatever the school district merger study, and they are looking for 6 community members to be part of a committee. If you have any interest in that, you can call the superintendent's office directly and put your name on their list. I don't know where they're at with it, but I know they put that notice out there. I think it might have been also mentioned in the Post-Star. As a member of the Personnel Committee, I think I should remind, we have a, what's the date for the annual harassment training that needs to be done?
It's within a year of when you did it.
So I think it was October last year. So I believe we get to look and see. It's a reminder to look, to remind everyone, I believe Jeffrey did send something a while back, so we should check our emails for Jeffrey's reminder to complete that training.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have to do it, so let's make sure everyone gets on that. Sound good there?
Okay, we do need a brief executive session,
I do, yes.
so blame it on the council. So we need actually, it's a two-part executive session. The first part will be to discuss the work performance of an unnamed person or persons employed by the town, work history. And the second part of that reason for going into executive session,
Acquisition of real property.
acquisition of real property. Somebody like to move that.
Make a motion to go into executive session.
Is there a second?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we're going into executive session. Hopefully it won't be too long.
Okay,
So we gotta shut that down, right?
yeah. I figure we'll just call him.
But don't shut down.
So
You're just gonna shut down the recording?
So maybe we can just call you.
Do you want to dial in and I'll just put them on speaker?
Yeah, so let's see here. All right, so what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to pause the so you have to turn the phone off.
Yeah, turn the phone off, say that.
Yeah, you just-
All right, everyone should be back.
Well, I see the camera is on.
Alrighty, we're coming out of executive session. No action was taken in executive session. Last time on the agenda, does anybody have any other business? If not,
No.
Do you need a motion to that item?
no, because we didn't take that either. If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this evening.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your help. Oh, we're still
Thank
on.
you, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye,
Alan.
Alan.
Thanks, Al.
Bye.
Floating head. All right, we're gonna, the recording has been stopped.